The National News Desk, locally covered, nationally connected.
Terrorists are being targeted. We're ready, willing, and able to collaborate, to coordinate with any foreign government that is committed to the fight against terrorism.
President Trump makes good on a threat to ISIS militants, the latest on the Christmas Day strike in Nigeria.
Widespread flooding throughout the community. Water rescues from vehicles traveling onto flooded roadways. We had people that were trapped in their houses.
Another band of relentless rain in the forecast for California when the downpours could finally ease up. And then interest rates have fallen to end the year. What this cut means for the price of your precious metals in the new year. Good evening and welcome to the National News Desk, America's News Now. I'm Dee Dee Gatton, and it is great to be here with you. We are learning as we come on the air more today about the Christmas Day strikes against ISIS terrorists inside Nigeria yesterday. President Donald Trump announcing the military action on its Truth Social account, following up on his warnings that the United States would not sit idly by as Christians were killed in the country. National correspondent Matt Gelka has the latest from Washington.
Video released from the Defense Department shows the deadly Christmas strikes launched on Islamic State group militants in Nigeria. President Trump and his supporters have been accusing extremists of slaughtering Christians in the country, and he had warned in early November that potential military action was coming.
If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country. Guns are blazing.
The strikes focused on the northwest part of the country, hitting 2 ISIS camps with Tomahawk cruise missiles fired from a naval ship in the Gulf of Guinea, according to the New York Times.
I think this was a shot across the bow that hopefully they will take heed to. But if they don't, I do think that Congress needs to take the step of declaring, or at least taking the vote to declare, because we don't want to see more unilateral action out of the administration, whether it's Republican or Democrat.
What should we be doing? What is our role there? What are his plans? I believe under the War Powers Act, he needs to be coming to Congress. He needs to be talking to Congress.
Despite threats against the country's government from the president, Nigeria shared intelligence with the U.S. military ahead of the strikes.
It was a collaborative effort between Nigeria and the U.S., and President Tinubu gave the go-ahead before it took place, and we don't see it violating our sovereignty or territorial integrity, which is very important. And it is not about religion. It's about the protection of lives and property of Nigerians and our neighbors as well.
It's hard to put an exact number on how many Christians have been killed in Nigeria in the last decade as militant groups have gained power. The violent attacks have targeted not only Christians, but also Muslims. The 2 religions are the most prominent in Nigeria. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka for the National News Desk, America's News Now.
President Donald Trump is expected to host Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at Mar-a-Lago on Sunday. This according to Ukrainian officials. Take a look right here on your screen. Zelensky posting on X today saying he will meet with President Trump in the near future, and a lot can be decided before the new year. President Trump said he would only meet directly with Zelensky if a deal was close to being completed. Zelensky told reporters Trump's plan is 90% complete. There are still territorial and economic issues to resolve aside from the military standoff on Ukraine's eastern front. Russia's invasion is nearing its 4th year. Kremlin officials today confirming they continue to have positive and constructive talks with U.S. negotiators. Over 30 million people are still under flood alerts in California as a multi-day storm with record rainfall continues. The rain is winding down and expected to stop overnight, thankfully, but the saturated ground is making additional flooding likely. The storm has caused mudslides, washed out entire roads, and left at least 3 people dead. First responders say the flooding has been widespread.
We saw a whole lot of rain coming. We're approaching 10 inches for the Wrightwood area that came down in a single operational period. That led to widespread flooding throughout the community. A number of rescues were performed throughout the day.
On the other side of the country, winter weather alerts cover a wide area of the Northeast. As you take a look behind me here, this is a look at Syracuse, New York. On the right of your screen, in the path of this storm, millions of people are at risk from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts and from Vermont down to West Virginia. New Jersey is under a state of emergency. Heavy snow is expected in some areas while others are getting a wintry mix. Snow totals are forecast to accumulate between 5 and 12 inches through tomorrow. Very treacherous driving conditions. Speaking of travel, the winter storm could worsen what's already a rough post-Christmas travel day. According to FlightAware, over 6,300 flights within, into, or out of the U.S. have been delayed today. 1,500 have been canceled, much more than average. FlightAware's misery map shows the metro areas of New York City, Washington, D.C., and Miami are having some of the most issues right now. Many airlines are waiving flight change fees for passengers in affected areas. A 15th victim is now dead, a month after that fatal UPS plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky. Kentucky's governor sharing on social media that this victim died from their injuries, and he asked for prayers for all of the victims' families. The plane crashed in November shortly after takeoff, killing 3 pilots on board and 11 others on the ground. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. Just shy of 20,000 non-legal resident truckers are suing California in a class action lawsuit after the state revoked their commercial driver's license. In the case set to begin on January 5th, 17,000 truckers have already had their licenses stripped. Another 2,700 will be stripped of their licenses in February unless the court steps in. The class argues that the mass cancellations are from the agency's own errors. It also says the state violated state law by not giving the drivers an immediate opportunity to reapply for corrected licenses. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy says allowing illegal aliens to operate these trucks is putting Americans' lives at risk.
I don't know what's wrong with the liberal mindset. I think good government would be governors that say, I'm going to keep my roads safe. I'm going to keep my people safe. If you take illegals into the country and put them behind the wheel, to the stories that you just referenced, we see it, one of these stories about once a month where people are dying because, again, really dumb mistakes are being made on the American roadways.
For years, California allowed certain non-citizens with valid work authorization to obtain a commercial driver's license. So many of these drivers were authorized to work in the U.S. at the time their CDLs were issued. The lawsuit asked a judge to require the DMV to let drivers immediately reapply for a corrected license. One vaccine ingredient in particular, aluminum, is likely to face further scrutiny as HHS investigates potential causes of chronic childhood illnesses. The CDC says aluminum salts will be further studied in relation to potential causes of autism, saying existing research is inadequate. Some studies conclude infant vaccines are not linked to neurodevelopmental disorders. Health Secretary RFK Jr. argues some of this research is flawed. Today, a woman accused of killing her daughter and leaving her body in Utah had her first court appearance. Ashley Buzzard pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. Prosecutors said they would seek a punishment of life in prison without parole. 9-year-old Melody Buzzard's remains were found earlier this month after a months-long search. Officials said she died from gunshot wounds to the head. The National News Desk, Samantha Hoffman, has more from Salt Lake City as law enforcement continues to search for more evidence.
New exclusive video shows authorities searching Ashley Buzzard's home hours after arrest.
They're looking for evidence. They're looking for things they may have missed.
While authorities found a match between ammunition at the scene and a spent cartridge case and live ammo at Ashley's home, they still do not have the murder weapon used to shoot Melody in the head. I spoke with private investigator Bill Garcia.
One of the main questions that's still unanswered is where's the murder weapon? What goes into searching for that?
Well, we've got a long area to search. My suspicion would be it wouldn't be all that far away, but with the amount of vegetation and streams and other elements like that, it's going to be difficult. It's almost all desert.
Garcia mentioned we still don't know the state of Melody's health when she was shot and if it was head on or from behind.
The other thing is whose gun was it? She shouldn't have had a weapon. I'm sure she's prohibited from having a weapon.
He added there could have been someone else present, though investigators believe Ashley was working alone.
My big concern is that with this current storm going through, it may actually get covered up with snow in that particular area, which means we wouldn't be able to even start looking for it until springtime.
While authorities look for answers for a long-running case, the community is devastated with the fresh news of Melody's passing.
It's like there's this special light in those that are taken, and it hurts a little bit more because we don't know what their potential in life would be, and we're all left to wonder and carry on without them.
Coming up next on the National News Desk, 2025 wasn't all gridlock here on Capitol Hill. A look back at what Congress actually got done this year when they worked together. Then the new step China took today against companies in the U.S. as tensions over Taiwan escalate. And later, for the first time in years, recruitment levels for America's armed forces meeting and beating expectations. But can this new pace last? We'll be right back. Twenty 2025 was a tense year for politics in Washington and across the country, but leaders in the nation's capital did at times find opportunities to work together on causes many people can get behind. National correspondent Atra El-Nashar takes a look back at 2025's moments of bipartisanship.
America's partisan divide is wide and on display daily in Congress. But there were times this year, often behind the scenes, when elected officials actually got things done together. In May, the Take It Down Act became law, making it a crime to publish intimate images of someone without their consent, known as revenge porn, including AI-generated content.
That so easily happened to anybody, which is what happened to me.
It also puts onus on social media platforms to remove it.
Today, through the Take It Down Act, we affirm that the well-being of our children is central to our future, of our families and America.
In August, the president put his signature on the ACES Act, which directs the VA to study cancer rates among military pilots and air crews.
These are incredibly healthy, in shape, well-tested individuals, and yet they have almost 30% higher cancer rates than the average civilian population. We need to know the why. And we need to provide our airmen with the air cover for their own health.
Just before Thanksgiving, a win for parents flying with a baby. A new law requires TSA to streamline how it screens breast milk without contamination, an effort years in the making. And in early December, the Medal of Honor Act became law with unanimous support from the House and Senate. It means the roughly 60 living recipients of the Medal of Honor, the military's highest award, will see their monthly pension increase for the first time in 23 years, from $1,400 a month to $5,600.
This bill ensures their extraordinary acts of bravery are not forgotten and that their sacrifices are valued by a grateful nation.
Looking ahead to 2026, it's a midterm election year, so Democrats and Republicans may find it more difficult to reach across the aisle. But some lawmakers we talked to say they're still determined to find ways to tackle issues like kids' online safety, regulating AI, and making life more affordable. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atra El-Nashar for the National News Desk, America's News Now.
China is targeting several American companies and executives in response to the United States' multi-billion-dollar arms sales to Taiwan last week. Today, Beijing sanctioned 20 defense-related companies and 10 people. China wants control of Taiwan and says the weapon sales would break diplomatic agreement, but American federal law requires the U.S. to help Taiwan with self-defense. Gold and silver prices are on the rise. Silver smashed through the $75 mark, while spot gold also saw a bounce today. The jump is being fueled by the prospects of lower interest rates and continued concerns swirling around geopolitics. Markets are expecting 2 more rate cuts next year, this on top of the ongoing de-dollarization trend seen around the world. Another trend to keep an eye on: about 15,000 churches are expected to close their doors this year. This, according to Axios. A recent Gallup survey shows 57% of Americans never attended religious services, a jump from 40% 25 years ago. Axios reports mystic influencers on YouTube and AI chatbots are replacing much of these in-person services. We have reporters all across the country in your neighborhoods covering issues that matter to you. From a veteran aiming to break records and raise awareness in Nevada to volunteers working to feed thousands in need in Washington, D.C. We are taking the pulse of America. And we start in Washington State, where a surprise donation is saving a vital center for the homeless.
Amber Mayer and her family park their red car at the Linwood Hygiene Center almost daily, taking advantage of the free warm showers and hot meals.
For your own self-worth, it's so important. I mean, when I come here, it's like, I feel so much better about myself.
She's only one of many. Manager Brett Barham helps roughly 50 people to a shower each day.
Marvin!
Just 5 years ago, he was homeless himself.
I wish there was a place like this when I was out there.
When people learned the hygiene center would have to close, Barham says many regulars were stressed and worried.
And a lot of people were asking where's another place they could shower.
An unexpected $2.25 million purchase by Rick Steves will keep the hygiene center's doors open and allow for much needed renovations in the new year.
We're pinching ourselves. It's so hard to even wrap my mind around it.
Mayor says she's thrilled the space will continue to provide a sense of community to many who are without a home or family.
You look forward to actually getting up in the morning, and you know you're going to have something to eat. You have somewhere to go. You have somewhere you're wanted.
That somewhere staying open is a holiday miracle to Mayor.
Be lying if I said I wasn't hurt. Long 22 hours.
Caleb Klein putting his body to the test, recumbent biking for 24 hours straight.
Minus changing my clothes and some body work. I've been in this exact same body position. All have set 10 world records by the time so my initial goal was 11 to cross the 500-mile mark.
Klein, a veteran, took to recumbent biking following an accident while on active duty that left him with back injuries, meaning he could never ride an upright bike again. But after finding recumbent, he's hopeful to use his platform to show other veterans that they can overcome the struggles they're left with post-service.
I'm just honored. I'm encouraged to raise awareness and have the conversations and to have the trust of of these individuals.
Klein live streamed his entire 24-hour ride, talking with other veterans about what they've faced since their time serving our country came to an end, and sharing his message that changing your life starts small but can grow exponentially. Klein's world records are in the final data verification stage, and while he'll be able to add those to his trophy cabinet, he says raising awareness for veterans and recumbent bikers was his biggest goal.
Instead of, and especially in the military and the veteran community, it goes usually towards bottles of alcohol, bottles of pills. How about bikes? So we have the 3 Bs. Let's try something different. Let's get the juices flowing a little creatively.
Lord, protect us and all the people who will be delivering these meals this day throughout the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area.
Each year, volunteers get up very early on Christmas morning to come to the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Northeast D.C. The earliest group to arrive packs Christmas turkey dinners and other items in bags, which are then placed in boxes. Then the boxes are wheeled outside the basilica to a long line of cars driven by volunteers who deliver the meals throughout the DMV.
So here's your address list. You have 16 meals.
Tom Savage volunteers every year. For him, this is what Christmas is all about.
It's not about sitting at home and opening presents. It's not about how many people, how many relatives can we visit. It's about giving back.
The Basilica says many who receive the dinners would otherwise have nothing to eat on Christmas.
Seniors, parents with children, unemployed, people who have lost their jobs recently, people who have lost their jobs long term, people who are ill.
Coming up next, after years of falling short, America's military is suddenly hitting and in some cases shattering its recruiting goals. What's behind the turnaround when we get back? Since November of 2024, U.S. military recruiting has surged across nearly every branch, a dramatic reversal after years of shortfalls. The Trump administration and Secretary Pete Hegseth point to what they call a renewed sense of patriotism, while others credit policy changes and streamlined recruiting. National correspondent Kelly Gaskins has that story from Washington.
After years of falling short, every major branch of the U.S. military is now reporting a turnaround in recruiting, with some posting historic gains.
7 months ago, we had the worst numbers in recorded history. Nobody wanted to join the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard. Now it's hot as a pistol.
The Army and Navy struggling with recruitment in recent years. In 2023, both missing their goals. In 2024, both lowered the target and barely reached that mark. 2025 saw a major turnaround, with both branches hitting elevated recruitment goals months ahead of schedule. The Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard all posting equally impressive numbers. We spoke with Dan Green, a research fellow at the Heritage Foundation, about the military struggles to recruit during the Biden administration.
It's a combination of factors, some of which was driven by the Biden administration's policies. Some of it, to be frank, was kind of the moment at the time.
Green argues the military's focus on DEI policies during that era, a lack of focus on merit, mandatory COVID vaccinations, and the withdrawal from Afghanistan all contributed to the recruitment and retention issues. He says the Trump administration and Secretary Hegseth's approach is more successful, including the clarity of mission, focusing on China as an existential threat.
Young men and women across the country are really, they notice these things. You know, they like to see an active military doing things.
And the precision strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities and alleged drug boats in the Caribbean.
To be frank, it blows up and it's on TV. A lot of people are drawn to those kinds of things, especially young men in America. But yeah, I think it shows that the military is being used for precise things, not for prolonged campaigns with sort of unclear endings.
While debate continues over what exactly is driving the current recruitment surge, one thing is clear. America's military recruiting crisis appears, for now, to be reversing. Reporting in Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins for the National News Desk, America's News Now.
Coming up, the company that gave every employee a six-figure bonus this year and the reason the CEO did it, right after this. Tonight, what do you think about this? Employees of a family-owned business in Louisiana got quite the holiday gift this year. The now former CEO of Firebond gave his employees six-figure bonuses following the $1.7 billion sale of the company. He said he wanted to reward them for their dedication so they wouldn't leave. Each of the few hundred workers is getting an average of over $440,000 paid out over 5 years. Not bad. It's going to do it for us for this edition of the National News Desk. We invite you tonight to join us as we look at this winter storm. It's bearing down right now on the East Coast, and the state has already declared a state of emergency. We'll tell you which one tonight at 10.